And in breaking news just coming in amidst escalating tensions between Iran and Israel, U.S. Ambassador to Israel has said that the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv has taken a minor hit from Iranian missiles. In a post on X, Huckabee said that U.S. Embassy and Consulate in Tel Aviv will remain closed today after some minor damage from concussions of Iranian missile hits. Huckabee confirmed that there have been no injuries to any U.S. personnel. Once again, reiterating for our viewers, U.S. Ambassador to Israel has said that the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv has taken a minor hit from the Iranian missiles. In a post on X, Huckabee has said that U.S. Embassy and Consulate in Tel Aviv will remain closed today after some minor damage from concussions of Iranian missile hits. Huckabee has confirmed that there have been no injuries to any U.S. personnel. And another big news coming in amidst the escalating conflict between Iran and Israel. Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has granted permission to the Indian Embassy in Tehran to escort Indian students to the northeast border of Armenia via buses. Now, this is according to the JNK Student Association. The Indian Embassy will begin relocating Indian students, including many from Kashmir and Iranian city of Urmia, to Armenia to ensure their safety. Well, this is the latest that we're getting from the ongoing conflict in West Asia. Now, amid the escalating conflict, Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has granted permission to the Indian Embassy in Tehran to escort Indian students to the northeast border of Armenia via buses. Now, this is according to the JNK Students Association. The Indian Embassy will begin relocating Indian students, including many from Kashmir, from Iranian city of Urmia to Armenia to ensure their safety. And for more on this, we're being joined live by Mahmood Hassani. He is a journalist from Tehran. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast.
Thank you very much.
So, absolutely. And in the latest developments, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has categorically said that he had informed President Trump ahead of the Friday's military action against Iran. And he went on to say that American pilots are shooting down Iranian drones headed towards Israel. Now, this is a big revelation. And where do we go from here?
I think the situation is about to escalate very, very dramatically soon. I think Israel is going to launch its next phase of operations. The first phase used drones, and I think the second phase is going to use mostly jets, fighter jets, to target Iran. And as Israel is going to escalate, I think Iran is also going to use more advanced missiles. The one size that it has used so far was not as advanced missiles. Missiles like Horam Shah and Khaybar, who have can create a lot of damage, has not been used yet. And we have seen over the past few days that Iran has used a number of missiles, like 2 or 3 missiles in each of the strikes, 2 or 3 missiles that can really create good damage in Tel Aviv and Haifa. But that has not escalated really further. But in the coming days, I believe Iran will use more advanced missiles as the situation further escalates. In Tehran here, there has been constant strikes day and night until last night, until 3 a.m. I was hearing the strikes and areas close to my own home being targeted. Yesterday, around noon, a house 2 blocks from my own house was bombed and destroyed. There was a residential building, and there was a saying that is in Iran that Israel only targets military sites and officials. But the areas that I have seen with my own eyes in the past 3 years is that Israel only targets residential areas. 3 areas near my home in the past 3 days of the fighting has been targeted, all residential buildings, and the whole building has been damaged. Not just one story that it was a so-called precision strike. The whole building, one building, two buildings have been completely destroyed. A lot of people have been killed. Iran's health ministry said over 200 people are not confirmed yet, but people say that figure is much higher. We had 60 people who killed in Chamran housing complex in Tehran. 60 people in one strike, 20 women and children. And it seems that Israel is using car bombs yesterday in Tehran. 5 car bombs detonated. This is the terrorism. And we should be tried in international criminal courts. You cannot use car bombs in any war.
Right, and the rate at which the conflict is escalating is greatly alarming. And now with Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz, who has warned the residents of Tehran and said that they will pay the price for their government's action. And he has also urged the citizens to hold their government accountable for their fate. Now, what is Israel trying to do here by not just targeting the military and the nuclear infrastructure, but also inciting the public sentiment against the government? And how are people reacting on ground to this situation? What's the dominant sentiment there?
I think the sentiment is changing more to a patriotic sense. People are more patriotic. People are against Israeli strikes. I think this has failed miserably, this Israel's plan. People are now supporting the military forces who are striking back Israeli targets. People they're condemning as they see that more and more people, civilians, innocent civilians are being killed in Israel's strikes. The sentiment is rapidly changing against Israel. Of course, the sentiment was already against Israel, but now it is much more against Israel and its strikes. They're opposing US, they're opposing Israel. Because in women and children, there was a famous photo that went viral yesterday about a man holding his child who was killed in a strike in central Tehran. That has gone viral, and that has created an outcry from the Iranian nation condemning the attacks.
Right, Mr. Sani, and we know that Iran has said that it would stop its retaliatory strikes when Israel stops attacking Iran, and has also conveyed its willingness to return to the negotiating table, but definitely not under the current circumstances, not while being under attack. Now, is there a realistic path back to the negotiating table, according to you?
I think first of all, I don't think the strikes is going to end anytime soon. I think it's going to go on for at least 2 or 3 weeks. And for now, I don't think negotiation is any matter. I don't think US wants to negotiate with Iran because, and Iran doesn't want to negotiate with the US because it's at a weak position. It should, after the strikes, the negotiations start, it's not going to just include Iran's nuclear program. It's also going to include Iran's missile program as well, definitely, because the US has seen that how much precise Iranian missiles are and how much damage they can be done. So, and missiles have always been a red line for the Iranian government. It's that missile program is non-negotiable. And so I don't think that there is a good prospect for talks or reaching any deal in the time soon, if considering that any negotiations in the future will definitely include Iran's missile program as well as its nuclear program.
Right, and while the escalation between Israel and Iran is expected to be the top priority at the G7 summit in Canada, how much influence can the G7, particularly its European members, realistically have in shaping the US response or even helping de-escalate this conflict in the weeks coming forward? What's your take on that?
I don't think the G7 is going to de-escalate the situation. They have just released, in the past few days, the G7 countries have released statements just simply saying that we don't want the tensions to escalate. That's it. They called just for de-escalation. And they have not been doing anything about Gaza. How do you think they can be doing anything about Iran? I don't think there's going to be much change after the G7 summit. And Trump we have seen in the past few days that he has been changing his rhetoric again and again. Yesterday, he changed his rhetoric twice. First, he said, well, I want peace between Iran and Israel. Then he said peace must be first brought about with war. And now he's sending aerial bombers to the region, more aerial bombers to the region. And so I don't think the G7 has any influence over Israel.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mahmoud Hassani, for joining us on the broadcast and sharing your perspective with us.
Thank you.